So in this tutorial I am going to show you how to do installation of the checkpoint firewall and the management server. So here is the objective of this tutorial: installation of checkpoint firewall on the VMware workstation, and then installation of checkpoint smart center server on VMware. Then what after that we will integrate the checkpoint gateway with the smart center server, and then we'll do some rule based configuration. Okay, after that we'll do some testing. So this is basically the brief of the tutorial. Okay, so this is now the configuration of my laptop. I just got i3 processor, Windows 7 on it, and the 3 GB of RAM. The RAM is very less, but I'll try to manage. Okay, so this is the topology that we are going to build, and here it's basically at my home. I have a router which has the IP address 192.168.1.1. Then my laptop which has the IP address 192.168.1.6. Then of course the gateway of my laptop is the router IP. Now then I got a I have installed the VMware workstation. So as soon as you install the VMware workstation, so by default it creates two switches, two virtual switch. One I call them as a bridge, and another one I call as the host only. Okay, so bridge is basically connected to your physical network, and the host only is a virtual switch. So where it depend on like how you want to connect it. So in my case, what I'm going to do is I am going to install the virtual checkpoint firewall gateway, the FW1. Then I'm going to have like two Ethernet 0 and the Ethernet 1 interfaces. So Ethernet 0 is going to be external interface, Ethernet 1 is going to be the internal interface. Okay, I don't have the public IP address here, so I will be using the private IP addresses on the external side. Okay, then so basically then again in the inside behind the firewall I got a virtual smart center server which has the IP address 10.10.10.2, then the another PC 10.10.10.3. So this is an XP machine. So this all is virtual. For the smart center server and the XP PC, the gateway is the firewall interface IP address, the inside interface IP address. Okay. So in short, what we are going to do is from the XP PC, we are going to log in into the smart center server. Then from there we are going to create some policies. Then the policies will come from the smart center server to the firewall one. So we'll create the policies in the smart center server, then we'll push the policy to the firewall. And in the last, once we are done with the whole this configuration, we'll try to access the, because of course the 10.10.10.3 IP address is not routable on my router, because the router just know only 192.168.1.0 subnet. So of course I'll have to do a NAT, the netting here 192.168.1.10. So it is going to be like sort of like of course the dynamic NAT, so that the XP PC can reach to the internet. So this is what we are going to test today, and after that we will try to do an static NAT. So basically for example like we will try to do in 10.10.10.3. for example, it's my server. Then we'll try to make the server available from outside. So basically we do an static NAT, let's suppose 192.168.1.30, that we will NAT to 10.10.10.3. Then we'll try to do with whether we can access the application on the server. So that would be the demonstration of the destination NAT. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I got a VMware workstation installed here. Okay, so for now what I'm going to do is, let me just close this one. Okay, so this will keep on showing the memory utilization. So let's open the VMware workstation. Okay, okay, there's already FW1 created. I'll first delete it. I'll start from the scratch. So, okay, there's the folder in this. So we are going to create lab. Okay, we'll create one new folder here. We'll give the name cp underscore lab. Okay, so let's create. So the at the beginning, the first thing we are going to do is we are going to basically okay, this is for the our topology. First, I am going to build the FW1, the firewall. So in checkpoint, we call the firewall as a gateway, or we call as enforcement module as well. Okay, so in my tutorial, the many of the time I will be calling firewall as a gateway. So just want to make sure you should not get confused with the term. Okay, so just go to the file, new virtual machine. Then just a moment. Okay, so let's take it typical. So here, like we need to give the ISO file, location of the ISO file. So this is the file. I'm going to use R77.10, the Gaia version for this tutorial. Then next, let's keep this other. So need to change and just give the name of your virtual machine. So this is the firewall. So I'm going to give it a name FW1 and the location where the this virtual machine will get stored. So here in the lab, then I have this. So I'll give it a name FW1. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to make this is the size of the hard disk. So just make sure it is higher than the 10 GB, I believe. I'll just make it 14 GB. Okay. So before you click on finish, just click on the customize hardware. Okay, so if you see in the topology, what we are going to do, we are going to take two interfaces. One is the outside, Ethernet 0, and one is the inside. So here in my, this is my the firewall gateway. So I'm going to, I have, if you see here already there is network adapter is already there. One is already there, and I'll add one more. So so the one which is already there is basically the Ethernet 0, and I'm going to add the Ethernet 1. So I'm going to keep it the host only. You see, because this is connected to the host switch, right? So I'm just going to keep it host only. Just finish. And for this one, I'm going to change the mode, because the Ethernet 0 is should be connected to the bridge, right? Okay. So this should be and the memory is not sufficient. So I'm going to make it 700 MB. And also just want to so basically in VMware, once you define the hardware, for example, when you define the memory, you can't decrease it in the later stage, but of course you can increase it. So that is the reason I'm giving it less memory. Close, then click on finish. Okay, so this will now start the installation process. Okay, so just click install Gaia on the system. And if you want to just come out of the virtual machine, just use alt control. Okay, when you want to go in, click, you can see the option here. Okay, So this is the same procedure we are going to follow for the management server. So what I'm going to do is to save the time. Let me just start the installation of the management server also. So this is my smart center server, okay, or the management server. All right. So what I'm going to do is let me see the memory utilization. Okay, so it is just 1 GB, and I have the sufficient memory as of now. So let me create another virtual machine. All right, I'll use the same package, same ISO again. Right, let's say next. I'll say other, and this is going to be the SCS, the Smart Center server. So I'm going to give the same name SCS, and I'm going to give it a location. So again, go to office lab and go to your CP lab. Let's create another folder here, which is, I'll say SCS. Okay, select this Smart Center server. Okay, click next. So again, just make it 14 GB. If everything goes well, then the 40 GB should be enough. So next. Okay, so for this one also, what I'm going to do is I am going to make this one as 600 MB. Let's just make it 700 MB. Okay, and okay, so this one, let's see. This is the Smart Center server. So this one is going to connect to the host only switch, right? So I'm going to select the host only here, right? And the floppy, I think we can remove it. We don't need the floppy here. Okay, just click on close and finish. So we have the two virtual machine is being installed now. Okay, so the firewall 1, I'll just hit enter. Okay, language, choose the password for the admin account. Okay, so I'm going to define the password admin. When you have the real appliance, by default it comes with the admin password. So your default username password is the admin. Same thing. Okay, so my memory is just 1.31 GB being utilized. Okay, so you have multiple network ports on the system. The port you would like to use for the managing system. So we are going to use the Ethernet 1, because in the topology, if you see the Ethernet 1 is towards the inside, and which is leading towards the Smart Center server, right? So the Ethernet 1 is going to be management link, and also for in our case we are going to use Ethernet 1 as a management and data link, as a data port as well, right? So the management IP address, so it is 10.10.10.1, right? And on this one we are not going to use any uh, gateway. Okay, now on the Smart Center server. Okay, so installing. Okay, so you see the IP config of my laptop. This is my laptop which has the 1.6 IP address, right? So here, yep, this one is the actual laptop. So this is the same procedure for gateway and for management server. Okay, so for the Smart Center server, the IP address is the 2, I believe, and the gateway is the IP address of inside interface IP address of your firewall, right? Okay. Okay, so I think this process is going to take some time. So by the time it completes, I'm just going to push a video for a while. Once it's back, I'll resume it again. Okay, so still the process is going on. I see it is 100%. So this process is again going to take some more time. I'm again going to push the video. Then once it is done, we'll come back again. Okay, so we are back now. Installation is completed for the firewall one and for the smart center server. We'll just reboot it. Okay, both the systems are rebooting. So on my laptop, as I said, okay, 192.68, 1.10. We have not given this IP address yet. Okay, let these two systems boot. After that, what I'm going to do is I am actually having already the XP machine here. You see, right? So this is going to be my Windows XP machine. You see, right? This one. So let this file boot first. Okay. So our memory is 2.31 GB. It's the today, so it is almost 80%. So for the Windows XP 512, yeah. So it's almost reaching 3 GB. Okay. Okay. I think it's being a bit slow. So I'm going to pause it again. Okay. So now my firewall and the smart center server is booted. Let's just restart the power on the XP machine, and we need to see the memory utilization, because if the memory goes high, then I think it's going to hang. Okay, so by the time okay, so from the now our management server and the firewall is booted up. So from the management server, now we should be able to link to the firewall if our networking is good, or virtual networking is good. So let's try that. So from smart center server, let's ping 10.10.10.1. Yes, we are able to ping. That's good. Okay, now let's see how the XP is booted up. Alt Control insert here. Okay. So this is the XPCC, right? Now from here, if you try to ping the firewall IP, firewall inside IP, no, we are not able to ping. Okay, and let's try the 10.10.10.2, the management server. No, we are not able to ping. Okay, let's try the, let's see what is the virtual interface configuration. So basically, okay, it is bridge. So, but if you see the diagram, the XP machine should be connected to the host only switch, not to the bridge switch, right? What I'll do is I'll just connect it to host only. Okay, now I think if everything is good, we should be able to ping. Is correct. No, so I think the IP address is not correct. So we need to change the IP address also. Okay, now we are able to ping the both the IP address, right? So now here if you see on, so when we logged in first time, it says in order to configure system, please accept the web GUI and finish the first time wizard. Now what we need to do is we need to just run the wizard. So open your Internet Explorer. Look at the, okay, it's coming up. So it is going to get slow, but it should do. Oh, it's being a bit slow. Let me do one thing. Let me just shut down the virtual, one of the virtual machines, and we'll power it on again so that we can free up some resources. we logged into the gateway, which is the firewall, and now we need to run the first time configuration wizard. Configuration wizard is basically like some of the first only the one time configuration you have to do, where you define like what role this particular system is going to play. So you want to make it as a gateway, you want to use as a management server, or you want to use as a log server, or you might want to use as a the provider one. So these are the like multiple options. So when you create the first time configuration wizard, in that time you need to tell your system what configuration he has to load. Okay, let it come up. Okay, so install. Okay, so this is our Ethernet one, the inside one, from which we are accessing this browser, the GUI. Okay, now on the Ethernet one, I'm going to give the other IP address, which is defined in the topology. So that is going to be 192.168.1. I believe we are using 10. Okay, so 255.255.255.0. Next. Okay, so name of the gateway, we have the one is the need. Okay, so here basically you define what type of installation you want to do. You want to make this as a security gateway or the security management server, or you want to make it as a multi-domain server. So multi-domain server is basically the provider one, where you have the multiple CMA. We are going to see this particular thing in another tutorial. So for this one, we'll just select the first one, security gateway management server. Okay, now here we have an option, the product you want to select. So you want to make it as a security gateway or the security management server, or both. So it's up to you. So what architecture you want to use? You want to make it as distributed or the standalone. When you have the standalone, so you select both. And when you have a distributed, so in that case, in our scenario, like we are going to use the distributed scenario, where we have the security gateway and the security management on a different physical machine. Right? So basically, you want to make it as a cluster, Excel, or not. So I'm not going to do clustering for now. Just a single firewall. Okay, so this is the secure internal communication. Is basically a key which basically creates a trust between the management server and the gateway. So this is the unique key we define on both the machines. We are going to use the same thing, this particular SIG key, when we are going to integrate it with the management server. Okay, so this process will take time. I know it is going to take at least 5 minutes, so I'm going to post the video by the time I'll boot the another machine as well. Okay, so I think this got completed, so we have to reboot the firewall once. Okay, so the firewall is booting. So the 15. Let me try to. I just powered on the smart center server as well. Let's just keep a continuous ping to that, so that as soon as it is up, should be able to ping it. Okay. Ping a scam. So the same thing, the first time configuration wizard now we need to run on the for the management server as well. So not should even one more thing I just going to tell you is like even the firewall or firewall comes back up, we are not going to ping the firewall. I'm going to show you the reason as well. Let's just finish this wizard again. At the moment actually we are running 3 virtual machines, so that's the reason it's being a bit slow. Okay, so we'll just start it. Okay, so we just have the Ethernet 0 which we already configured. Okay, let's click on next. Okay, so give it a name. So I'll give SCS Smart Center Server. Next. Okay, so what you want to make it? You want to make it again the same thing. So this time we are going to choose the management server here, right? We are not going to select this one. And of course, like you want to make it as a primary, you want to make it as a secondary, or you want to make it as a log server. So we are going to just select the primary management server. Okay, so this is the basically the username and password for your the dashboard. So this is for the database. So I'll say any IP address should be able to access this for now. Okay, so this will again restart. Just going to install the management server processes on the gateway. Okay, now we got the access of this. So basically now, or if you see, we are not able to ping the gateway 10.10.10.1, but we can able to log into the it's a GUI. Okay, and the reason of this is because by default, uh, now if you go to the firewall, you see there would be an initial policy installed. Initial policy is the one which basically blocks everything apart from the control connections. So control connections like your for HTTPS for your GUI access, or I believe for HTTPS as well, but not the ping. Right. So only it allows only the control connection. So that is the reason we are able to get the GUI and not the ping. Right. Right. We can even access it, but we can't ping. So okay, So it says the config log is owned by admin. So I say log database override. Now here if you run fw state, it will show you the policy. So this is the initial policy which basically blocks everything apart from the control connection. So what I'm going to do is, for the demonstration, I'm going to unload this policy. Fw unload local is the command. Now if you run fw state, we don't see any policy installed on it, right? The initial policy is the default policy which blocks everything, and now here you will see the ping is came, right? Because there is no policy, right? So as soon as if I run the cp start again, or might be if I reboot the firewall again, it will have the initial policy installed, right? Okay, so now our firewall is ready. So from the firewall, let's try to now ping its gateway. This is 192.168.1.1. I'm not sure if we have given the gateway. No, we are not able to ping in. I think I know why it is. Okay, so we'll check that as well. And by the time this is finished, let's see what is happening with the smart center server. Okay, so it's still processing. Okay, so bad news here is like we are not able to ping 192.168.1.1. We were supposed to ping it, but so let's suppose show configuration static route. There's no route on it. Let's show art. Put show art. Okay, change. So it is able to see the oh nice. Okay, let's now try to add the default route. We should be able to ping the 192.168.1.1, but if we are not, then there's something wrong. So let's say okay, ping 192.168.1.6. My laptop IP address. Okay, we are able to ping 1.6, but not the. So let's add the default route. Might be the gateway is not allowing, the router is not allowing, or might be some because I'm using the Wi-Fi. That's the reason. Let's read it out from the command line. I don't know the command. Let's see. Set. To check the command. Okay, so I just edit the route with this command, and now I'm able to ping the 4.2.2.2. Right. I'm not sure why I'm not able to ping 192.168.1.1. Okay, might be for any reason the router is blocking on its side, but okay, that's good. We are able to reach to the internet. Okay, that's good. So our gateway is ready, and or the management server should also be ready. see. Okay, I think it's being slow. I'm just going to pause again. Okay, so now what we need to do is now we need to install the smart console. So you can download the smart console exe from the management server as well. See, if you just click here the download now, and it will download to your system, then you can install it. I have already installed it on this virtual XP machine. So I'll just straightforward go there. I'll just close the browser so that I can just save some resources. Okay, but because it's being very slow, what I'm going to just going to pause again. Okay, so now I just have SSH of the firewall and the smart center server. I have already installed the smart console on this virtual machine. Right, if you can want to see. So now what I'm going to do is I am basically going to log in into the smart center server using the dashboard. So you see when you open it, you see the smart dashboard. Smart dashboard is logging into management server, so that you can basically the smart dashboard is basically one of the component of the smart console. So the dashboard specifically we use to create the policies, any rule or any configuration we have to do, so we have to do from the smart dashboard GUI only. In a checkpoint, there is no way you cannot go to the command line on the gateway, and from there you can't create a rule like we do in the Cisco. So everything, whole configuration has to be done from the management server. So basically we are giving here the IP address of the management server. So from the XPPC we are logging into the management server, right? So it's because we are logging in the first time, so it's showing the fingerprints was changed. Okay, so yes, and the username password that I use to log in into this is the one that I created when I installed the management server. So that was for the database. So in short, basically the management server has got two login, one from which I am doing SSH to the management SCS, and another one from which I'm logging into the smart dashboard, right? Okay. So now here you see there is nothing at the moment, right? Everything is blank. What we need to do is now the first thing is we need to make sure that the connectivity between the management server and the your firewall is in place. So you should be, at least you should be able to ping to the gateway from your management server if it allow. Otherwise you might need to check another uh, the, the some of the checkpoints ports that you need to make sure that those ports are open between the gateway and the management server. But in our case we just have both are in the on the same layer to switch, so for us there is no problem. Okay, so as soon as you expand it, you see the SCS. This is basically the icon of the management server, and even you can see that M is written over here, so that means this is the management server, right? In the checkpoint, these all these symbols have different significance. Their icon is different for depend on the nature of the object, right? So this object represents the management server. Now what I'm going to do is I am going to integrate the gateway with this management server. So let's suppose I'm going to run the wizard mode. Name of the firewall, so it is FW1, and gateway platform, so let's put open server because it is just on the VMware. If we have any appliance, so you can select the appliance whatever you have. For me it is just a virtual server, so I just say open server, and the IP address of your gateway, right? Next. Oh sorry, so here we have a problem because seems that FW1 is the it comes using from the keyword. So I'll just give it a name as gateway GW. Okay, one time password. So this is the SIG key that we use when we did the installation on the management server. Now same key I have to give here, right? So this is the same SIG key that I've defined on the gateway. Now I need to give the same key here so that I can make sure that this is to make sure that you are the trusted management server. Only the trusted management server can push the policy and can do the communication, and this communication is also secure. So basically any communication between the gateway and the smart center server is encrypted. Okay, fine. So now okay, now if you see here, the trust is established. If you want to see attached signature status, so it says it's communicating. So that means we now have added our gateway with our management server. Okay, so I'll just say okay, and here if you see, automatically it has taken the topology. The topology is basically your interface configuration, which shows basically this particular interface is what. So if you see here, the Ethernet 0 automatically saying the external, or saying the this one as internal. And in any case, if there is any change or your interface configuration, might be your IP address got changed interface or you got new interface. So in that case, you need to do get topology. So just okay. So now we have the gateway as well, right? So now what I am going to do is I am going to create some policies here. So okay, so let's suppose the first rule I am going to make is, which is the management rule. For example, the source is the smart center server. Okay, actually I don't need it, but that's good to have. Okay, the source is this, and the destination is the gateway, right? And I say accept log. So I say the source is this and the destination is gateway, everything should be allowed. So I call this as a management rule. Okay, and below this I will add another rule. I will say any everything is dropped, but let it log. I will call as a cleanup rule. Right? Okay, and so basically what is going to happen is it is this rule is saying that if the source is the management server and the destination is the gateway, right? So everything is allowed. Then the second rule is going to say that everything is blocked. So only in that case the management server should be able to ping the gateway, should be able to push to the policy to the gateway, right? And below that, what I'm going to do is I am going to create another rule which says the source is any, destination is any, and the destination is gateway, not any, and it is going to drop and log. I'm going to this is called as a stealth rule. Stealth rule is basically anything towards your gateway should be blocked so that you can protect your firewall. Okay, so in checkpoint basically there is nothing called like which interface. It is global. So from you come from any interface, you are coming from inside, you are hitting the firewall from inside or from outside. It is going to drop, right? Because on the checkpoint there is no policies on the interface level. Now top of this I'm going to add another rule saying that if the source is for example I'll say I'll create new host. The host is basically, for example, the XP dash PC this is the host and the IP address of it 10.3. Okay, and this guy is also should be able to access to the gateway because I have to SSH. So I'll say SSH, and I will also need to take the GUI of the firewall, right? This is for so that I can access the gateway, right? Log. If you don't select the log, then you are not going to see any sort of logs in the tracker for that particular rule. Okay, now in the rule base, here you see the install on, right? So the meaning of install on is in case, let's suppose you have the like multiple gateways. So if there is a rule, for example, this any rule which is like common, for example, the cleanup rule or the any another rule which is basically common to both the gateways. So in that case, you don't select the policy target, right? So when you push the policy, when you install the policy, that time is asked you on which particular target you want to push the rule. So whatever the gateway you select, the rule is going to push to on that particular firewall, right? In our case, we just have one firewall, so there is no problem if I select or I don't select. It is going to anyways push to the single firewall. But it's a good idea if your rule is specific to any particular firewall. Make sure that you always use the install on. Basically, you can just use this. That's a good idea, right? Now, for example, yeah. Okay, so this rule is basically I want to in all the firewalls, right? So I'm not going to select it. So whenever you push it, this rule will go to all the firewalls, whatever firewalls I'll select in the target, right? And this one I'll again say the GUI access. Okay, and one more rule I'm going to add it, which is going to be the about this. I think we'll talk about this later. Right? Okay, so this is the rule base. Now apart from this, what you want to do is, like, for example, below this rule you might need to add your customer rule, like for your DMZ traffic you want to allow, or for example in our case we might try to access the internet on the XPPC. So for that we'll create a rule, right? So I'll say, and here I'll say if the source is XPPC and he is trying to hit to the internet, so internet is going to be any. So in that case, it should be able to allow to HTTP. It should be able to allow to HTTPS, and it should be also able to access the DNS, right? I'll say accept and the log, right? So again, this is going to be for the same firewall. Okay, great. So I think we are ready. The only one thing which is remaining is the NAT configuration. So that okay, now if you see on the XPPC, this is my PC. If I'm trying to reach to the internet, I should not be able to even the. Oh, okay. Let's suppose one more thing. Let's suppose on this PC I'm also going to allow the ICMP. Okay, I think this should be enough. So basically, now if I'll try to 4.2.2.2, I will not be able to ping it, right? So from the rules perspective, this is what we needed. On the checkpoint, Okay, so I'll just remove this one. So but this is the default object. What we can do is this should be somewhere in the, okay, this one. I'll just delete. I don't like this. Okay, so in the NAT section here, if you go, you see there is no NAT configured, right? So there are two ways we can just create a NAT. One is the auto NAT. So basically you goes to object. Now on the object itself you define NAT, right? So add automatic address translation hide. So as soon as you said hide or you want to do a dynamic NAT or the static NAT, you can define here. So this is basically the object NAT which you define on the object. So this is also called the automatic NAT. So as soon as I say okay, so you'll see you'll see uh, the NAT rule here automatically created, automatic rule, and you can't even edit it. If you try, it says it is automatic by system. So you have to again delete this rule from here only. If you change it, it's gone. Right? So automatic, let's suppose do this. Yeah. So hide behind the gateway. So it is basically going to NAT with the external IP address. Hide behind gateway, or if you want to use any IP address, so you can even define the IP address. Right? So I think this is what we needed. Let's just now try to push the policy. Right? So this is what when you push the policies. So when you select here the name of the gateway, so means you want to push the policy in what gateway. For example, in case you have the 4 gateway or the multiple gateways, you need to make sure that you are selected the right gateway. Otherwise, unnecessarily you push the policy to the unintended to gateway where you don't want to actually push the policy. Also, like in case when you have to when you created any rule where you have the policy target as no policy target is set, that means for this rule is going to push to only this gateway. Or if I select another gateway as well, so this particular rule is going to go to this gateway. But the rules where the policy install on in the install on column, if the gateway selected specifically, then of course that particular rule is going to push onto that gateway only. Okay, so let's try to push the policy. Okay, I hope if the memory resources are good, then we should be able to push the policy. And now we can also, okay, the ping is on. So as soon as if everything goes well, then we should be able to ping to 4.2.2. Okay, so by the time this policy is taking the time, I'm going to push the video. Okay, so now we got the ping reply, so that means the policy has already gone to the kernel. Okay, and hope we should be able to access to the internet. should be able to access the internet because here. Okay, so on the XPPC, just IP address. If you do, you should see the IP address of, yes, that's correct. So basically, what is happening is, and if we try to do a test route, yeah. So basically, first you goes to the firewall 10.10.10.1 inside, then you go switch to the internet, then you goes out of the internet, go out of the my router, right? So here's the which is the charger. Okay, I'll just push it. I'll just pause the video so that I can just connect charge. Okay, so we are now successfully able to access the internet. Now, okay, this is also done. So if you go to smart console, and from here you can just open the smart view tracker. The smart view tracker is the console smart console application from which you can basically see the logs of the firewall. So the gateway will be sending all your traffic logs to the your smart center server. And in case if you want to have the log server, dedicated log server, you can configure your firewall to send all your traffic to the log server. But in our case, as we have the smart center server and the log server, they both are same. So all our logs from the gateway or from the firewall is going to land on the smart center server only, right? So now if you see here, so this is what the HTTPS. I try to access the Google, so I believe this should be the Google IP address, right? Now here you see we are getting basically some of the rape, net bios, and this, what I say, I call these traffic as a noisy traffic. So what you can do is you can just go here, you can just add one more rule, for example here, and you can just say that source any destination any and the service you can say the NB, yep, NB name and NB NBT, I guess. So it will have all the, yeah, all, right, and you say just none, so that you don't see this junk traffic on your tracker. Unnecessary your logs will not come. So this is a good practice to do, and I can just save the policy and later on we can install it. I'm not going to install now because it's just again going to take another time. So, and also like this, I did not select the policy target, so might be this particular rule can be uh, uh, common to the multiple firewalls, right? So in future, if I add another firewall for that one, I don't need to create this rule again, right? Because I did not select the policy target. Okay. So this is what the policy, and we already done the testing as well. Last thing I want to show you is the one of the cool utility of the checkpoint, which is basically we run from the command line. My PC is being very slow now because I got multiple application open. Yeah. So basically from here you can see the logs basically, right? If you want, you can open it. You can just put a filter, source filter, destination filter, or you can put a filter for the service. If you click on this arrow down, so it gives you the latest log. If you click on the top arrow, the arrow up, it moves. It takes you to the older log, right? So here you see all the details, and even you can see the XLAX source. So it is being netted with the gateway IP address, right? Okay, so I think this is what we were supposed to do today. One more thing I am going to show you is the static NAT configuration. So consider the scenario. Let's go back to our topology. So like here, if you see, for example, the XPPC, consider the XPPC is the server, and I'm having one of my website running on this one, and I want to access the website from the internet, right? So in that case, what I may need to do is I need to add a static NAT, so that this, for consider like 192.168.1.10 is my public IP address, right? Or the 20 is my public IP address, and I want to NAT it to 10.10.10.3, right? So that this my website can be accessible from the internet, right? So let's try to do that. uh, so I'm already having the Apache, and hope it should be working. I didn't check today, but should be. So if I do localhost here, okay, yeah, so this is my web page, right? And just an test page I created. So let's suppose I want to host this particular server on the internet. So okay, so what I'm going to do is I'll need one rule first. So for example, I'll create a rule here below, where I'll say the source is internet, which is any, and the destination is. So for example, what I'm going to do is I am going to use the NAT like this. For example, the 192.168.1.30 is going to NAT with the 10.10.10.3, I believe. Yeah. Okay. So this is what the NATing I'm going to do. So I'm just going to create a NAT object first. So I'll click here itself. So I'll say when the destination on internet would be SRV NAT IP, for example. So I'll say it is going to be 192.168.1.30, and you can even define the colors in your object if you want. So that might be, for example, let's suppose blue, just to identify. Okay, so and the okay, so this is the, and my application runs on HTTP. I'll say accept, I'll say log, right, and I'll have to create a NAT as well. So the NAT, so I'll say this is the automatic NAT. I'll create a rule. Okay, so okay, I'll create on the bottom. Okay. So source is any, and the destination is going to my what is the name of the, okay, SRV net IP address. If the original packet, this is the original packet, right? And I don't want to change my source. I want to let the source be as it is. So I'm going to say original, and the destination, of course, I want to NAT it to the I think its name is XPPC here, to this. And of course, if you want to use the policy target, you can just use the policy target here, add from here. Sorry. So target, select the gateway, and yeah. So this is one thing. Let's push the policies. I think in the Gaia this is not going to work, because we may need to add a proxy R. So this is the manual NAT we have done, and if everything well, we should be able to reach the, so basically 190 to 168. Oh, we forgot to add the SMP. We should have added the SMP. No problem. So let me just 192.168. Sorry, 10.10.10.1. Log into my firewall. Right. Admin. port address. So it is 192.168.1.30. So you want to add the MAC address or the interface. So let's suppose interface. We say TS0. Okay. So now let's try to. So this is my PC, which is 192.168.1.6, and from this one I am going to access 10.10.10.3 server, right? So 192.168.1.30 is the IP address. Okay. Let's see if we are able to learn the app of 1.30. No, I don't see the app because we added the proxy app later in push the policy. I think that's the reason. So let's try to push the policy again. Okay, and before I do that, let me also allow the ping on. If this doesn't work, then we might need to do some troubleshooting. Okay, so by the time, so in the checkpoint, this one is the glitch cell in the Gaia, this is the glitch cell, and there is another cell which is the expert cell. So we need to first add the set the expert password. So this is sort of Linux shell from where you can run some of the debug commands. This is configuration of push. Let's see what's going on. No, we are still not able to reach to. Okay, I see there is some problem. I think might be in the VMware. We are not able to learn the app, and that is, I believe, because we are on the Wi-Fi. So that is the reason we are not able to access the. I need to, I think, connect the cable for that to work. Okay, guys. So I think this is the configuration, and the objective of this tutorial was to demo you how can we install the management server and the gateway, and how can we basically integrate and push the policies, and how can we create the rules and the basic rules. So it was just a basic tutorial. I hope you guys would have liked this video. If you liked it, please hit like and comments on my video. Thanks for watching. Thank you.